There are truly hundreds of stories I could tell you about my best friend and hive mind of 16 years, from when I met her while in her pink hoodied lunch reading phase, to that time I accidentally got her book stolen in algebra, which is the truest form of betrayal in this friendship. Then there's the time we cried down a mountain on our way to Gettysburg. But the biggest thing that has brought us together is our book nerd hearts, and Emily is no different. The foundational book of our friendship is Pride and Prejudice, and Mandy, you are the Lizzie Bennet to my Charlotte Lou. Sometime in early spring of 2012, Mand showed me the first Lizzie Bennet Diaries vlog. The next year of our lives revolved around noon on Mondays and Thursdays when the newest video dropped. We both could have had a future in chemistry if we had spent even a little less time talking about it in junior year. At one point, our teacher moved us apart because we couldn't stop talking. He quickly realized this would never shut us up and moved us back together. You are the cue to my radar, a la Paper Towns. You are one of my absolute favorite adventure buddies. We've gone to Canada and determined that beach vacations aren't for us. We've seen many Broadway plays, including Hamilton in Chicago, a personal favorite. We've stared at countless works of art, including the official portrait of Millard Fillmore in DC, which I swear to you looks like Alec Baldwin for some reason. Emily, I am so glad to count you as one of my favorite adventure buddies now too. Mand, I am so confident that you have found the Achilles to your Patroclus. You care for each other deeply. Any couple who can make it through lockdown in a studio apartment has true staying power. There were a lot of phone calls from the bathroom. It was the only door in the apartment. Then Emily happily agreed to adopt arugula, who she's allergic to. And Amanda agreed to get a dog after like a decade of trying on my part. That's when I knew I'd be here giving this speech. Emily, you are my Lizzie's Darcy. In the hundreds of hours Mand and I have spent fangirling over LBD, you were the partner we talked about. You've brought out the best in her. You are always supportive of her. You are the best spouse for my best friend. Thank you for loving her so well. You're two such smart people who were clearly made for each other. To Emily and Amanda, who love each other as much as Jane Austen promised.
Hello. I'm Sarah. I'm Emily's sister. If you don't know that by now, I'm sorry. All right. I'm 20 months younger, 21. 20 months younger than my sister, which means she was the guinea pig, and I followed everything she ever did. She loved Mary Poppins to the point of torturing my parents with it on the daily. So I decided, okay, I also love Mary Poppins. She wants this bedroom in the new house. I want that bedroom too, for literally no other reason than that Emily wants it. She decides to be a chronic overachiever and go to the University of Michigan, so do I. But I'm sure it'll reassure you all to hear that although I have followed in your footsteps on all of these things, I have no intention of marrying Amanda. For context, one of my closest friends is named Miranda, and her name is Amanda, and it gets very confusing. Her best friend is named Sarah. My name is Sarah. There's too much going on. I have no intention of marrying Amanda. No offense to Amanda, but I am not a homewrecker. Can you imagine how messy that would be? Like, I would probably lose my Rosie privileges, and we cannot have that. That's absolutely not acceptable. I actually have no plans to get married at all, so congrats to you for your originality. And congrats to my parents for not having to pay for one of these again. Give it up for not having to pay for more weddings, honestly. Everyone just, thank you. And the thing about marriage is that it is a heteronormative, patriarchal, sexist institution. What a fun bomb to drop while giving a maid of honor speech at a wedding, right? I'm great at parties. But objectively it is. And as an asexual, aromantic person, I also love coming out in front of a large room of strangers. As an aromantic, asexual person who has no intention of ever participating in the whole romantic relationship, traditional marriage type of thing, One might think that I'm not too keen on weddings, except here's the thing, I love weddings. Archaicness aside, I love that they're just a celebration of love and of family, both that which we are born into and that which we choose. It's about committing yourself to a person in like a romantic way or whatever, sure, fine. But it's also about creating a partnership and celebrating that with all the people you love most in this world. And there's dancing and a lot of bread, which I have already eaten. And I think that's pretty neat. So I could not be happier to be sharing this day with you as your maid of honor, as is my birthright. Now, here's a fun fact. I started writing this very speech in 2019. Those wedding goers with an apt eye will note that these two did not get engaged until 2021. But I've been thinking about it since 2019, and I first put pen to paper in October of 2020. And even as early as 2018, I had the fleeting thought that I could see the two of you getting married, and I wasn't mad about it. You were a few months in, and I was already making jokes with my friend Miranda about how we were both going to be the only aunt because our siblings were both marrying only children. And I didn't tell my sister this at the time because I didn't want to spook her. But even that early on, I was thinking that. I would say me and Emily are close, but we're not the kind of sisters that tell each other everything, like to let each other into the nitty-gritty of our lives. Absolutely not. Particularly when it comes to relationships. This is primarily a result of us being Costellos, but that said, I have been around for some high highs in your romantic career and some low lows. And I didn't have to know Amanda well or have you confide all of your secrets in me for me to know early on that something about this felt right. Vibe check passed. And since you were so uncharacteristically vulnerable before, in front of a crowd, kind of against your will, but also not, I figure it's fair I do the same. So, for one night only, y'all get this exclusive. Emily, I love you. And I hope you revel in hearing that, really soak it in, because you won't be hearing it again for at least another decade. Look at all these clueless people who think I'm kidding. I'm not. I'd like to end with this. The last time I saw my grandfather alive, my Grandpa Costello, you were there with us, Amanda. And you had never met him before. It was the one and only time you interacted with him. You were a near stranger to him. But he said, and I remember this clearer than anything else that happened that night, he said to you, "Welcome to the family." You've been functionally a part of the family for ages, but today makes it official. And so, on this day, I would like to quote my grandfather and say, from those of us who are here celebrating tonight and those who aren't, from one Costello to another, welcome to the family, Amanda. Cheers.